Welcome to Game Chest.
Now, Game Chest. What is Game Chest for those who don't know?
Game Chest is a board games store where you can buy, rent, and play games with your friends or strangers. And we are bringing Sioux Falls back to the table.
Awesome. Now, the type of games that you offer. I see a plethora of games here. What genres, what types of styles of games do you offer?
So we're trying to make games accessible to everyone, and so our goal is to have something in every category. So we target family, we target children, we target party games, we have all the top 20, we have the huge games that take a month to play, we have role-playing games and miniatures and painting supplies, and we really wanted to go the full gamut when it came to offerings here at Game Chest.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how does somebody find themselves into it? I mean, what got you into this?
So I grew up in a family of four, and my brother taught me how to play board games. I can specifically remember the day I learned how to play Clue. It's my favorite traditional board game. And I learned on a stairwell at a Christmas party. We just snuck off and we played two-person Clue, which actually you can't play Clue with two people, but you know, we were kids, whatever, it was fun. And when I was a kid, my love language is quality time. And so I always gravitated towards board games. And whenever there would be a family event, I would be the one to grab a game out of the closet and beg everybody to play. And I've just always been the person who wants to play games with anybody who's available. And I feel like it brings people together, and that's what I'm all about. And then my husband, Ben, he grew up playing games as well. He played more role-playing games. He painted miniatures. He enjoyed time with his friends playing those games, and he played a lot of video games growing up. I didn't play video games at all, and so when we met, it was something that brought us together, and all of the best memories that I have been around a table. There's laughter, there's strategy, and there's fun, and I just love that when I tell someone that I own a board game store, 99.9% of the time, their eyes light up and you can see that they're thinking of their favorite game or the best memory that they have. And so why wouldn't I want to bring that joy to this community? We need it here. So.
That's beautiful.
Thank
now,
you.
Are you a Sioux Falls local?
I'm not. I actually grew up in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado. I was born in Arvada, and I grew up in Aurora. And then I went to high school in Littleton. And while I was in high school, my parents got divorced, and my mom is from Rapid City area. And so she and I moved to Rapid, and I went and finished my high school, my last 2 years of high school there. And then I moved out to East River because I went to college out here. I went to school for music for 2 years, and I went to school for sign language interpreting for 4 years. So I'm still a certified and professional sign language interpreter. I have been for 8 years.
Wow.
And but my husband's from Sioux Falls, and I met him when I was here, and I never looked back. I love Sioux Falls. It's my home now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, with this huge realm of artistry that goes on, Would you say that there is artistry in the stuff that you do here with the gaming, at least in this aspect? I know you mentioned miniatures.
Absolutely.
What is it about that makes it so appealing?
Right. So my husband's an artist. He went to school for art, and his mom went to school for art. His sister went to school for art. The whole family is just art, art, art. And my brothers are both artists. One of my brothers is actually a professional comic book artist.
Wow.
And so art is a huge part of both of our lives again. And from just the outside of board game boxes, I mean, a lot of what draws people in, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, with games, honestly, you can kind of judge a book by the cover. A lot of games that have beautiful art on the outside have beautiful story or beautiful mechanisms on the inside. And then on the flip side of that is the art of storytelling and role playing. A lot of people, I feel like Dungeons and Dragons has finally come to its full potential. You know, everybody has that awkward teenage years, and I feel like the '90s was D&D's awkward teenage years where people weren't really sure if it was safe for their kids. And I have actual customers who, like, they basically got kicked out of their family because they played Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. But really, like, Dungeons and Dragons is glorified make-believe, right? Like, we're playing pretend around a table. But it's art. It's actual art. Like, storytelling and interaction and role-playing. It's theater. A lot of famous actors play Dungeons and Dragons. There's a famous television show called Critical Role, which is put on by Geek and Sundry, and actual famous voice actors get paid to play Dungeons and Dragons on television. Like, it's a dream come true, right? So that awkward teenager has now grown into this, like, really hot 20-year-old and is like, I've got the world on my, on a platter now, and that's how Dungeons and Dragons is. And I blame Stranger Things. You know, I think that show has exposed more people to D&D, and I think that there's more and more authors coming up with. I mean, there's hundreds of different role playing games out there. If D&D isn't your style, there's 100 of other games. And so, from the design of a board game to the painting of a miniature to the role playing on Dungeons and Dragons, art is everywhere in the board game world for sure.
That is awesome. Now, I guess in that realm, how many different styles of board games are there? I grew up with Sorry, Monopoly,
right.
Basics, and things that we know as kids, you know, Pop, whatever those things were.
Right.
How many other ones would you say there are?
There are probably, there's hundreds of thousands at the very least, board games. And then within that, if we were to divide them into categories, I would say there's like 20 major categories, from deck building games to there's a new style of card game called the living card game, which is a newish, 4 to 5 years old. Instead of it being like Magic the Gathering, where you have to buy packs and really not know what you're going to get, and build your deck from that. Living card games come out with packs every month that you already know what's in it, and so that grows as you play the game. There are worker placement games, which is a type of game where you have a little character, a meeple or a pawn, and you have to put it somewhere in order to get resources. And there are strategic games like Risk, which is called an area control game. There are party games. Like, party games is a whole category now, where it's like you've got of course, Cards Against Humanity, which unfortunately we can't sell because they only sell to big box stores. And at Game Chest, we have made a commitment to never upcharge anything. So we would have to buy it from a big box store and then add an additional cost. So we just don't do that here. We only sell what we can sell at market price. But we, party games like that, the Game of Things, those games have their own category now. And there's hundreds, and we just love that we can expose more people to them, because it's no longer just Monopoly and Sorry. And even if you've gone a little past that and gotten into like Catan and Ticket to Ride, those are newer, but they're classic style. Everybody has one in their closet. There's so much more beyond Catan and Ticket to Ride. Great games, but there's more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that there's a huge genre. There's many different genres.
Right.
Being somebody like me who's never jumped into D&D or these games that I can buy miniatures and paint these miniatures. What is the startup cost for somebody who wants to get into something like this? What would it take for me, somebody who's never done it before, to be able to get into this and thrive?
Right. So if you really wanted to play D&D, I'm going to show you something. This is our starter set. This set comes with like a summarized rule book, so that you don't have to feel overwhelmed by like a 400-page book with all these rules and all these details. It comes with some character sheets. It comes with a set of dice. It comes with the rule book has beautiful imagery in it. You can play a campaign using just this box, and that's $20. Yeah. So if you paid $20, you and your friends, you could split it 5 ways. That's $4 a piece, and play an entire campaign of D&D using just this. You could spend less than that and just come here or go onto our Facebook group, which is Game Chess Community, and that's our community page. It's where people interact and say, "Hey, I have this game. You want to play with me?" And you could go on there and say, "Hey, I'm new to D&D. I want to learn how to play it. Is there anyone available to teach me?" And play literally for free and get into it that way. There are we have 500 people on our community, and it's growing every day, who are welcoming and inviting people in. That's what this is about for us. So, for free, really.
That's awesome. So there is a community, like you said, there's a community out here, and there's people willing to teach.
Absolutely.
Do you find yourself having a market, and I don't want to use the term monopoly over? Is there other people out here that have, or in the same realm, or are you unique to what you do? Is this something that we could say is unique to Sioux Falls?
Well, I would say that what is unique about Game Chess as a specific store is our rental library, our membership. We have a membership called the Key Holders Guild, where you pay us $13 and we give you $15 in store credit a month. It's an investment program. We're asking you to promise us that you will pay $13 every month. And most people spend at least $13 a month here anyway, plus it carries over for an extra month. So $26 every 2 months is really how I look at it. If you're already spending that, you might as well just do it. And that's an investment so that we can keep our lights on, because we've had a history of game stores closing down here in Sioux Falls. We've had 3 game stores in the last 10 years that have opened and closed, and in short periods of time. And it's unfortunate because the community really wants those stores to stay open. And so how we have tried to encourage that is, if you become a key holder, we're not taking your money, we're redistributing it, but it's a promise, and you promise us that you'll give us the $13 a month. We promise you that we'll stay open. So there's that. But there is another store in Sioux Falls that offers games. There's two or three stores actually now that offer games. It's just that we have a different approach. Right. Our approach is about community. Our approach is about getting people around the table. We really focus on the gamut again of board games, rather than just having one niche game that we play here. And so, I think that we are unique to Sioux Falls in that we have those options, and we're also not afraid to say, hey, there's another. Like, for example, we're good friends with people who own Dragon's Den, which is another game store in Sioux Falls. And if they have something to offer that we don't have to offer, we are willing to kind of say, hey, Dragon's Den's another place for you to go. But we found that a lot of people come here because we have a community. We have the community that they feel like they're a part of. They can go next door and get coffee, beer, who doesn't want that? Right. And that's just not something you can do anywhere else.
Well, it sounds like Game Chest is striving to keep that community alive.
Absolutely.
With that being said, do you guys offer tournaments in that realm? Do you have the ability to offer competitions? Because from what I know, there is competitive nature behind D&D, Magic the Gathering, these things. Are these things that you have been looking at or offering at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Today we have a tournament there's a new card game called Light Seekers. It was developed in the United Kingdom about 10 months ago, and we're one of the very first distributors in the country. We got in on the ground floor, and we're really fortunate because we have a good relationship with the company, and we love that game. And so every single Thursday, people are coming here and playing that game, and every other week we do a tournament. So every other week is just casual play, and then the alternating weeks are tournaments, where you have an opportunity to win prizes by just playing. And the tournaments are free. You don't have to. There's no buy-in for those tournaments. No. We have other organized plays that we're hoping to get up and running. Honestly, since we started, it's been like non-stop go, go, go. So we have, I think, almost 10 organized play kits that we are just sitting on because we don't have the time to run them. And so we're hoping that with our move and the new space, we'll be able to really get those off the ground. And those will have a little bit of a buy-in. But, for example, if you we have one that's called Potion Explosion. It's a board game that we offer here. And if you came to the Potion Explosion play, you would walk home with product. And so you're not paying for the experience, you're paying for the product that you're going home with because we had to pay for those products. But other than that, absolutely, we love the competitive nature of games. I'm less competitive than my husband, but I'm more about the fun. But I know that people really enjoy being competitive, and so that's what we also try to offer.
And it sounds like it's just you and your husband running this at this moment.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I have to say, that's admirable, given that this is an adventure that I've never seen in this scale. And you guys are moving.
Yeah. Yeah, so my husband and I opened it together. I worked full-time as an interpreter for the first 4 months that we were open. I've only been working here for 2 weeks so far, full-time. And my husband pretty much ran the shop on his own, which is, if anybody ever looks at our hours, that's why they're a little weird, because it's only 2 people and we need a break sometimes, One day we'll have full hours, but as of right now, that's where we're at. And the shop has taken off, the community has taken off. We're grateful for the support that we've had, and a lot of that has offered us the opportunity to grow into a bigger space. We just don't have the space here. When we get inventory, we have 20 boxes, and we're like, our customers are trying to work their way around our boxes, and that's just not conducive for anything. So the new space that we'll be in has a back room where we can bring in our inventory and slowly bring it out into the public eye, and then it'll have about double the retail space with some in-space seating. So.
Well, I want to thank you again for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. I, again, myself have never seen anything like this before. And to have kind of met, some people in this area that have at least this kind of storefront to put forward.
Right.
And I guess even just your involvement in the community itself, I have to say, is awesome. It's inspirational. And I think, and hope the best, because I know that something like this is necessary.
Yeah.
Especially bringing the community together. This is a great situation.
Thank you.
It's really fun. Is there anything that anybody should know? Is there something that you feel like you'd like to, let people who maybe have just come here for the first time, stuff that maybe we haven't talked about?
I would say that, we've covered a lot, which I'm really happy about. I would say our move, our grandest opening, we've had 3 grand openings in 6 months, so it feels a little weird using that word so much. But our grandest opening is going to be on the 28th of April. And it's also International Tabletop Day. Tabletop is another word for board game. And so we will have a crazy event with games all day long, morning to night, and we'll be offering a discount that day. And really never be afraid to ask questions. All people are welcome here. We strive for inclusivity, and please join our Facebook group because the community is there to support each other. So if you want to be a part of something and you want to learn more, absolutely get on Game Chest Community. There's hundreds of people there who are just waiting to be your new friend.
Well, thank you again, Amanda. I do appreciate the time.
Absolutely. I thank you.
Awesome.
I want to thank you guys again for joining 88 Industries on another amazing interview. I also want to thank Amanda at Game Chest for giving us the great opportunity. If you guys want to reach out to Game Chest, you can catch their weekly updates at SF Game Chest on Instagram, or jump onto Facebook and catch them at Game Chest Community. And as always, remember to count your blessings. Thank you.